everyone. So here's one of the necklaces that I came up with. I don't know if I'll come up with a second different type, but I am trying to think about it. With this here for the spring blossom, just to kind of go over a few things about this is that when I first designed it, I did the V going this direction, and then I added this whole section here. What we're going to do instead, and I think this will be a lot easier, is that we're going to actually start at the bottom of the V, and then we're just going to have enough thread for both sides to start off with. You'll be adding thread, so don't worry about putting on too much, but what we're going to do is we're just going to work up going in the opposite direction on one side. And just to kind of talk about my design here is that when I came up with this, because I'm a chunky gal, you know, I'm one of those people that I take great pride in who I am, and I just love who I am as a person, and I think we all should do that and not worry about the outside as much as we worry about the inside. So because I am a bit of a chunky girl, one thing I have problems with some necklaces, beaded necklaces, is that they tend to roll. And I wanted a necklace that, and I kind of love V necks, you know, this is something about that. And I wanted a necklace that had a bit of a V, but I was concerned with these little embellishments on the side. I forget what they're called, but anyways, that they would roll on my neck and then it wouldn't lay very well. And so I thought, well, what if I did half of it, a small portion of that, and then the major part that's going to go around my chunky neck, so that it's okay that it rolls a little bit and it won't affect this part. So that was the goal behind this particular necklace. So you'll see here you got the V neck, and then you got this, and it's okay if it rolls a little bit and it's off to the side and stuff. It's not going to affect the beauty of this necklace. In fact, if it kind of rolls and plays around, that's okay, because it just adds a little bit of oomph to it, and it doesn't really take away from any of the beauty, because then you get to see more of the necklace that way. So as it rolls, you can see different parts, and if it twists just a little bit, it's not going to affect the whole. See, if you do this, it's not affecting the bottom part of the necklace, and that's really the design behind this particular concept. Also, one thing I like to do with my necklaces and bracelets is that this is kind of a signature thing for me, and it's a very simple thing, is I like to tend to do a little diamond at the end, the beaded diamond. I just think it adds a little, it just makes it a little bit decorative. It's a little bit of chic, a little bit of a little oomph to it, you know, and a little. I used to do rounds, and they would stretch and turn into ovals, and they didn't look right. And I mean, sometimes I still do that, and it just depends on what you're doing. But you'll find in a lot of my designs is that I will do that diamond shape at the end. So it's fairly simple. It's really easy to do. You can do them in a variety of sizes, but they just add a little bit of class to your design. All right, so we're going to get started here in a moment. I hope you enjoy this, but just a reminder, we're going to start off with this part, and it's really not hard at all. And then when you get to this section, this is going to be so simple. It's going to be so simple, and this is going to be a fun, quick necklace to make. It took more time and thought to figure out how I was going to design it than it did to actually make. So I will see you back here soon. Thank you again so much for checking out my videos. I'm starting to get a little bit better, and I'm enjoying it. It's a challenge, but it's fun to learn new things. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hey everyone. So here's what we're gonna do when we get started is get your needle threaded, and you want approximately about 2 wingspans. And when I say wingspan, I mean from one arm to the end of the other arm. If that's too much thread for you, you can always do less. And what we're going to do is approximately about half of that, we're gonna put our stop bead, okay? And so we're only going to be working with the first half, and then later on we'll go back and use the second half. And that's the reason why, in this particular case, it's okay to go ahead and have such long thread. The next thing what we're going to do is we're going to start off doing this V, and we're going to start off with the very center part of the V. We're going to be concerned about basically this set of 5 Tilas. And this is before the embellishment, and we'll be doing the little peaks here. And what we're going to do is we'll start off with these 5, and we'll just work up on one side, and then we'll go and then work all the way through our project. And then on the other side, we'll work on the other side. And so that's the reason why it's okay to go ahead and have such long thread. Okay, and a couple of things, housekeeping notes before we get started. I am using number 12 needle. Just to get started for the first part, for before the embellishment, what we're going to need is we're going to need our 5mm Tila beads and our 11/0 round beads, just to get started. We'll need the other stuff later on, but that's what we'll need to get started. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to do the peak of the V here. And so we're going to just create that peak first, okay? So first we're going to connect the 2 blue, and then we're going to sit side by side, kind of like a book does, okay? Then we're going to connect this gold piece. We're going to do the step up from the blue to this gold piece, come back down, connect the center of the peak, then go up and start our V going in this direction, okay? It's real simple. All right, so we're gonna take these 2 blue Tila beads. We're gonna go up 1 hole on 1 Tila bead. We're gonna go down another hole on the other Tila bead. So they'll sit on the thread together. Then what we're going to do, it's kind of like just making a circle when you have like a bunch of seed beads, but in this particular case we're just going to create a book. So we're going to go up just that first Tila bead that we came out of, and it's going to create this little side-by-side effect. And we're just going to go through that one more time to reinforce that, since that is kind of our, it's kind of the stabilization of the piece, okay? So that's why that's important. All right, so we did that. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and step up to go to that very first piece. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go up our 1 Tila bead. Then we're going to grab one of the gold. That's our 3rd color in the bunch. Okay, so we got the 2 here. Now we got the 3rd Tila bead just sitting off to the side. We will pick up 3 11/0s. Go down the same hole that we came out of plus the Tila bead. There we go. Pick up another 3 11/0 rounds. Go up. go ahead and reinforce. So we want to go back down. Then we're going to cross over this Tila bead and just go through that hole. We're going to go ahead and pick up 3 11-ohs, go down. Okay, now we're going to pick up our center piece, go through one hole. And because we want this to sit in the center of our Tila beads, we're going to go ahead, pick up our 3 11-ohs, go through the second hole of that Tila bead up this first hole of this Tila bead. Go ahead and reinforce that embellishment at the top. Then when you come down, you want to come down in between those 2 Tila beads and go up here. Pick up your third color. And 3 11-ohs. Slide that down your thread. Go through the same hole that you're coming out of that Tila bead. Go straight down the second hole of that Tila bead below it. So first hole here, second hole here. Adjust the beads if you have to so they sit in a little triangle. There we go. Pick up 3 11-ohs. Go up to the very top. There we go. Adjust your beads. Cross over, and don't worry, no one's going to see the thread, I swear. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pick up 3 more 11-ohs and go up. Create our little peak. Ta-da! So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to step up each time and move over a bead so that the hole is always that's connecting the previous Tila bead is the bottom will be the second hole, the top will be the first hole. And we'll just keep doing that all the way up and so forth. And the total number of Tila beads that you need for the V section is 17 Tila beads total, starting with this very beginning Tila bead. So you're going to do 17 on this side, and then starting from here, already counting, so you're going to count this twice, 17 on the other side. And then we'll do the rest of the chain. So meet me back here. I'll show you a little bit more how to do this, and then I'll let you off to do it on your own. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to work our way up. And so I'm coming out of the second hole of this latest Tila bead. And so I picked up, my next color is going to be bronze, so I picked that up. And then I picked up 3 11-ohs. I'm just going to slide those down. And what I want to do is I want to go through that hole at the very top of that Tila bead and go all the way down to the bottom of that last Tila bead that I just added, making sure that my 3 11-ohs are sitting correctly. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce. There we go. Did that go through correctly? Nope, I need to go back up. All right, so I want to go this direction. And you want to follow your thread path so your beads do lay correctly. And then I'm just going to come back up. I'm not going to go through this section here. So I just went down, I reinforced this bottom part, coming back up, and I'm coming out of here, making sure my thread doesn't get caught on anything. It's very common with this project, so you do want to take your time and pay attention. All right? Okay, relax and just have fun. I mean, that's what this is all about. All right, so I'm coming out of this hole. I want to go down here. So I'm going to go down. And if anybody knows the name of this type of embellishment, I think it has a particular name. I just can't think of it. And if I do learn it, I will share that. So I'm going to come down here and make sure my beads lie correctly. There we go. Pick up my next Tila bead. Slide that down with 3 11-ohs. All right. So second hole, first hole. Go through the same hole I just came out of, all the way down to the second of that first Tila bead there, the previous Tila bead. Instead of saying first, I should say previous. Go ahead and reinforce that bottom embellishment. Whoops. Am I coming through the same direction? I don't think so. Gotta be careful of that. Sorry, folks. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna fix this and I'll be right back, okay? All right, so at the very last Tila, we're gonna do something slightly different than what we've done. So instead of picking up 3 11-ohs, we're gonna go ahead and pick up 4 11-ohs. Go in, we're coming out of one side, we'll go in on the other side. There we go. Pick up 3 more 11-ohs. And then do our usual, going back in through the same hole we just came out of and creating our little triangle. And then we're just going to go ahead and reinforce that. And this is just for the very final on both sides. There we go. Following the same thread path that we had before. All right. Now you can go ahead and do the other side, and then meet me back here, and then we'll go ahead and do the next step of the chain. All right? See you back here in a moment. All right, so this is the same necklace that I've already started, and I'm ready to go on this side, so I thought I'd take the time to show you how to get started on this end of your V, okay? So on this particular one, the only difference is I have this kind of like this matte kind of metallic blue, medium grayish blue, instead of the gold. So it's really, really pretty. So is the other one. I like them both quite a bit. So let me see if I can zoom in here. go. Zoom in a little bit more. There we go. All right. So I am, so when we did our thread, remember we did 2 wingspans, and then we put our stop bead halfway, and we are using the other half of that thread now to go up here. And so just like on the other side, we're going to make sure things are always, you know, we're going to consider this side our first hole and this side our second hole. And we want our previous bead to line up with the second hole and first hole of our current Tila bead, okay? And then anywhere else we'll have these little peaks here. So I'm going to go ahead, pick up 3 11/0s. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go down and reinforce that previous one down below. There we go. There. Can you see me? All right. Maybe I'll back up just a little bit here. There we go. So I just added these 3 C beads here, and then I went down. I'm going to reinforce this and then come back up to that top Tila bead. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, come to the very top of the Tila bead, make sure my thread doesn't get caught on anything. And again, on this project, it's very common, so just take your time. And what we're going to do is we're just gonna go down here and reinforce this. And I'm just trying to, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get up to here facing in the correct direction. So that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, there's logic behind it, I promise you. There we go. Once you get started, it's not so bad. It's just getting started can be a little awkward and you have to think of where you want to go. There we go. All right, so now I'm ready to connect my next Tila because I'm on the second hole. I'm coming out of the second hole. I can then go through the first hole of that Tila bead that I'm going to connect. I'm going to go ahead, pick up 3 11/0s. Slide those down. Okay. Gonna go through the hole that I just came out of, plus I'm gonna go down to that second hole and do a reinforcement, just because it's easier to turn around that way. And after this, it'll be so much easier. It's just getting started is the toughest part. All right. Now I'm going to go up through the second, all the way up to the very current Tila. There we go. I'm going to slide over, head down, put my little embellishment on. So I'm going to pick up 3 11/0s, go back up. This will allow me to step up. There we go. Pick up my new Tila, my new current Tila, and 3 11/0s. Slide those down. Okay. Then I'm gonna go through the same hole I just came out of the current Tila, the first hole, and the second hole of the previous Tila. All right, and it's okay to go ahead and reinforce. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start reinforcing. And just adjust the beads so they lie correctly. There we go. Then go through the beads to reinforce. Just follow the thread path, go back up that hole. There we go. And go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to cross over. This will allow me to step up then. So I'm going to go down the second hole of the current Tila. Pick up 3 11/0s. Bring that up. Pick up another Tila bead. Three 11/0s. And go down that Tila bead from the first hole in the current, second hole of the second. Might as well go ahead and reinforce the embellishment on the bottom. We're not going to worry about reinforcing the top part now because we'll get that when we do our embellishment later on the top of the Tilas. Now we're going to go ahead, go back through the second hole of the previous Tila and the first hole of the current Tila. All right, so you just keep doing that. And just a reminder, what you're doing is you're connecting the Tila beads on the second hole of the previous Tila and the first hole of the new Tila. And then in between that, you'll have these little 3 berries sitting there, okay? All right, I'll meet you back here. And again, from the very bottom of the V, you're gonna have 17 Tilas going up for the V on both sides. And you'll count this, so you'll go up from here all the way up, and that's 17. And then the same thing for the other direction, 17. So when you've done that for both sides, meet me back here and we'll get started with the chain. All right, looking forward to seeing you. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So when you need to add thread, just a couple of pieces of advice. What I would recommend doing is that, let me just get a little closer, is whenever you're adding thread while you're doing the V, you know, for this first stage, is to try to do it in between the 2 Tilas in the step up. Just because you'll have a little bit more room there. And you'll do at least 2 to 3 half knots whenever you're adding thread. All right, so now we're going to go on to the next part, adding the rest of the chain. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go up one side and down the other side. And so you're going to be using your 11/0 rounds. You are going to be using 4mm pearls. And then, of course, your 5mm Tila beads. And this is all before we do any of the additional embellishment. So first pick up, in this case, because what we want to do and want to create is the ability for the top part to kind of just be able to move around and twist. And that way, if you have, like me, kind of more of a round neck, it won't twist this part when you're wearing it. So this is what we're gonna do, is we're gonna start off with one. So we have our 4 11 seed beads from beforehand. So what we're going to do is we're going to add one 11 seed bead, one 4mm pearl. Okay, so that way when we come back down, we'll go through that 11 onto the other side of that piece. And what this will do is this will allow it to twist and turn without affecting the rest of the necklace. Okay, and we'll have that throughout the necklace, is that ability here. So what we're going to do is we picked up one 11 one 4mm pearl. Now we're going to pick up two 11s, the next color in our scheme here. So it was, it goes browns, blue, gold. So last I had blue, so gold is next. That's just because I was doing a color scheme of 3. Then I am going to go ahead and pick up 2 more 11s. Then I'm going to pick up a 4mm. And we're just going to keep doing that as we go along. So we'll pick up 2 more 11s. Pick up my next Tila bead, 2 more 11s, a pearl, two more 11s, Tila bead, and then just keep repeating that to the length you want, okay? And I'll meet you back here and we'll go from there. All right, so we get to the very end. Make sure you have the length that you want. And keep in mind you'll need a little room. You'll be adding a little length with your clasp. At the very end, make sure you end with a 4mm pearl and one 11 round. Then pick up 8 11 rounds. There we go. Slide those down. We are going to be adding our clasp, and on my clasp I have a split ring. You can use a jump ring, or if you have the option you can also just attach directly to the clasp. The reason why I like to use split rings or jump rings, it's easier to lengthen a necklace that way. Just something to keep in mind. You don't have to, it's just a matter of preference. All right, so that very first 11 skip that, and what you want to do is do that, the 8 11s that we had last added, just go through the first 2 11s. There we go. Don't worry if it's not right next to the other, because we can just slide this down. Sometimes having it separate, it's a little easier. And we're going to create our little diamond shape. So go ahead and pick up one 11 Delica. Whoops. Go through 2 11 rounds. Pick up one 11 Delica. Let me see if I can get a little closer here. There we go. There we go. Go through 2 11 rounds. And I'm just going to move that clasp to the other side so I don't accidentally thread that, so it stays within my little diamond. I'm going to pick up one 11 Delica, go through 2 11/0 rounds, then pick up my final 11/0 Delica, and then I'm just gonna go all the way around one last time. We'll do some more reinforcement later on when we do our embellishment. So this won't be the last time we've gone through this. There we go. There we go. And just gonna move that clasp out of my way here. Get that out of my way. There. And what I want to do is I want to go through the bottom of that Delica. Because what will happen is when we're doing a reinforcement, we're going to actually go through the opposite side. So that way it sits nicely on top of our 11/0 round. There we go. So now we'll go through our 11/0 round and our 4mm pearl. We're going to pick up 2 11/0 rounds and go through our Tila. There we go. Just like that. And as you're going through, you want to kind of just jiggle that so things are sitting better. And then just keep picking up 11/0 rounds and going through the pearl and Tilas. And you'll just want to also every so often just kind of adjust that. There we go. Things are a little loose here, but that's okay. Things will pull together. And just keep going and connecting everything. And what I'll do is I'll meet you back here right before we hit our V section, okay? All right, just relax and have some fun, and it's gonna look gorgeous, you guys, I assure you. All right, talk to you later. All right, so now that we've finished on the other side, one thing you may want to do, and I find it is helpful, is to take in between where each unit you have the pearl, is just kind of readjust the beads a little bit. There we go. Just kind of helps them sit a little bit better. There we go. So when we get down to the very bottom, one thing we want to make sure we're doing is we want this to sit evenly in between, coming in and out. So in this particular case, I'm connected over to this side. So I want to connect to this side. So I'm going to go down through here. There we go. All right. And now we're connected. Hi everyone. So now we're ready to start adding our embellishment to the V section. And when we do that, there's a couple of things to note. We just get these necklaces here. And whoops. There we go. All right. So when we're looking at our finished necklace, let me bring that in a little closer. There we go. Bring that up. As you can see, on the one side, I have the embellishment pointing towards inwards, and the same thing for the other. So just like the V pointing inwards, you're going to want your embellishment to go that way. And the same thing for the other side. That way, when we get to the very end, it will just naturally go in that direction. So when we're doing this, and right now, I'm currently on this Tila bead, and let's just see where I'm coming from. I'm coming from here. So I'm on the wrong side, and what I want to do, let me think about this. Am I on the wrong side? Yes, I am on the wrong side. So because I want it to be pointing inward, I want my embellishment to go like that for this side, because my V is at the very bottom here. So let me just kind of point that out to you. So you want your embellishment to go like this on this side, and this way on the other side. So that way it's pointing inwards. All right, so what I need to do is get myself up to here to do that. And that's a fairly simple task. Whoops, actually I was wrong. My thread is actually coming from here, so we're good. All right, so for the embellishment for the V section, it's fairly simple. It's 1/11, 1 2mm fire polish, 1/11 on your needle, just like this. All right. And so I want to come and go in this diagonal direction. Let me get a little closer. There we go. So I want to go in this diagonal direction. So I'm pointing towards the peak of the V. All right. So I'm going to go in through here. All right. Now I've already reinforced this section and this section multiple times. So what I could do is I could just go over to the other side like this. And don't worry, no one's going to see your thread there. It will be well hidden. And what I can do is I can, oops, just follow the thread path here. And since I'm here and this is a connection, I'm just going to go up and just reinforce that. So I'm just going to make my way up. You do or do not have to do this. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cross over here. No one's going to see my thread there. There we go. And just going to come down here again. And then up here. Oops. I keep doing things funny. All right. And I could have done this a little bit better. All right, let me just back up here. I'm just gonna go and do this. There we go. And up through here. I'm just going to do a quick little reinforcement first and just work my way. And what I want to do is I want to be down over to this side, I decided, and then go down here and reinforce that. But since this is a weak point, I might as well go ahead and just go up here and just take the time to reinforce it one more time. It doesn't hurt. So where you have the V and the chain kind of coming together, it doesn't hurt to go back and reinforce that a couple of times. There we go. Since I'm here. All right, so now I did it correctly. So I'm coming out from here. I want to go down here so I can reinforce my embellishment. And this way I'm making sure my embellishment sits on my Tila bead the way I want it. So I want the thread to always come in and out of the actual Tila bead. There we go. There we go. So really this embellishment's fairly easily. The only thing you have to think about is the direction you want the embellishment to be lying. So now we're going to come up over here. And I'm just going to make my way down to this Tila. Oops. There we go. All right. Now I just need to think about what I'm doing here. Again, I want the embellishment to be like this. So, right now I'm coming out of here, but I would rather come out of here or here. So what I could do is, I know this has been reinforced. This hasn't been reinforced. So I'm going to come up here and reinforce that part of the embellishment we did earlier. So just remember the bottom part of the embellishment we sort of reinforced as we were making the chain, but the top part we didn't. So we might as well go ahead and reinforce that while we can. And then we can get ourselves over to where we want to be. So I'm just going to be coming out of that bottom piece. There we go. Just sit my embellishment earlier. Now I'm just going to pick up 1/11, 1/2 millimeter. And then 1/11. Whoops. I dropped my 2 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and repick that up. Sometime within this lifetime. All right, so now I got my 11/0, my 2 millimeter, my 11/0. I'm going to do the diagonal again. And this time I'm just going to go down. There we go. Let's just go down. All right. I might as well go ahead and reinforce that bottom, because then that will get me up to here and I can reinforce that embellishment we just added. So might as well. Doesn't hurt. There we go. So the key thing is you're just going to have to think about how to get to the location you want. And there's multiple different ways you can go about doing that. Whatever is easiest is probably the best. But, you know, you just have to think a little bit when you're doing this. There we go. Up and through. There we go. So now I can go ahead and I can reinforce that embellishment that I just added. Now I can go ahead and go up. There we go. Actually, I can go ahead and just go down. Or no, let me think about this. I think I'm going to go up just so that way the embellishment is tied to that one particular Tila bead, so it doesn't stretch out further beyond that. And that way I'm just kind of keeping it within that Tila bead. May not have to do that, but I think I prefer it to sit better that way. And there we go. All right, now I'm going to come down to my second Tila bead. Here we go. And I shouldn't say second, I should say third, but hey. There we go. All right. Again, just thinking about where I want my embellishment to go and what direction. I want it to go here, this direction, so I want to be coming out of this hole or that hole. Since I'm not over here, what I could do is I could just reinforce this and go back up. There's, like I said, there's multiple ways we can go about doing it. You just have to think about which one of the two holes you want to come out of. And you just work your way that way. There we go. There we go. Come on. We're here somewhere. And there. There we go. All right, so now I'm coming out of the correct hole. What I want to do is now pick up my 11-0, my 2mm, and my 11-0. There we go. All right, so I'm coming out of here. I want to go through this hole here, and then I can just reinforce that top section, because we know we didn't do that the first time around. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that when we were going through and doing the chain, we were reinforcing the bottom embellishment on the Tilas, but not the top ones. So it doesn't hurt to go through and reinforce that. And that way when I reinforce it, I come back through the hole that I can go ahead and reinforce that embellishment that we just added to the top of the Tila bead. So I'm going ahead, go through there. And then I'm going to go through. This hole's a little tough. I think I've had to add thread there and do some reinforcement. Ooh, let's be careful. There. Let's see here. There we go. All right, so just to continue what we were doing, we'll do one more here. So I'm coming out of this hole. I actually want to come out of this hole or that hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reinforce this part, bring myself back up here, do my diagonal embellishment, and then go from there. So let's go ahead, do the little reinforcement. Go up through this hole to get me to where I'm supposed to be. All right, I'm at where I'm supposed to be, so I'm going to go ahead, grab 111.0, 2 millimeter, 111.0, go through to this other side and up here, reinforce this section and back down and reinforce my embellishment. So let's go ahead and do that. We just go here and there we go. There we go. So we got the embellishment on. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce my top embellishment. Gotta learn what that term is with this little 3. I think it's, I want to say it starts with a P, but I could be wrong. So if any of you guys know, please share. I would like to use the correct terminology when doing things. And like I said, in many ways, I'm still a newbie just like everyone else. All right, I'm coming out of the correct spot right here. I'm going to reinforce my embellishment. Go back down. There we go. Then just slide over to the next Tila. And again, I'll just reinforce this because I want to be coming out of here or here. I'll just reinforce this to get up here, do my embellishment, come up here, reinforce this part, come back down, and then I can reinforce my embellishment. And I'll just keep doing that. That's probably the easiest way to do this. And once I get done, I will start the other side. When we get down to the bottom, there's something we do a little different. So meet me back here, and then after we're done with that, I'll get you started on the other side. So again, meet me back here when you get close to the end, and we'll figure out, we'll do the bottom part together, okay? All right. Whew, we're getting there. Okay, and I apologize. I had some technical difficulties. In other words, my fingers got out of the frame, so you guys weren't able to see what I was doing when I was doing the embellishment at this peak. So I just had this little sample piece because I think it's important to show. So what I'm going to do is I'll finish up this side. So this last bead here, I'll do like I was doing, going in the direction of this peak. So I wanted to either come out of this hole or this hole over here. And since I'm coming out of this hole, I've arranged it to make it so. I'm going to pick up 111.0, 2 millimeter fire polish. There we go. And 111.0. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the other hole like we've been doing. So this is just like what we've been doing. The only difference is right here, this embellishment is connecting the two, and we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're just gonna go up, right? Go past that. And then, there we go. Whoops, you wanna make sure your thread doesn't get caught like mine. There we go. There. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down across, reinforce this bottom so I can get back up to here. Making sure my thread doesn't get caught on any of my beads. I'm going to go nice and slow. And back up to the hole I want to go to, right here. Making sure all my thread doesn't get caught. Sorry. There we go. And reinforce my embellishment. And remember, it would be so tempting just to go into this next Tila, but we want our embellishments to sit on top of the Tila that we were in. So we don't want to just go to the next Tila. We have to make sure we go in through this hole up here, because we want the embellishment to be sitting directly on top of that Tila. So that's the reason why for that. Now I'm just going to go through here. Now when I do the embellishment for this Tila, we're going to be going either coming from out of this hole or that hole. So I can just go ahead and go to the bottom Tila next. There we go. And the thing about the bottom Tila is it doesn't matter which hole we're going to be coming out of. And the reason for that, whoops, there we go. The reason for that is that we are going to be making an X. So we'll have a little X coming here, and the fire polish will sit in the center. So right now I'm coming out of this hole, so I'm going to make a diagonal going across the other hole because it doesn't matter which of the four. So the first time I'm going to pick up 1/11, one 2mm fire polish, and then another 11. I'm going to go across to the other side and then down. Okay, now to make the X, I'm just going to pick up one. I'm coming out of this hole. I want to go through the opposite side, so I'm just going to pick up 1/11, go through the 2mm fire polish, and go through into that other side. It's a little awkward. There we go. And then down. There we go. And if you need to adjust, go ahead. There we go. And then you can go ahead and reinforce the X. There we go. And just remember, you want to follow the thread path that you originally went through, so that way it lays correctly. So I'm just going to follow that X again. Oops. There we go. There we go. Now you can do one of two things. You can either do your embellishment on the other side, working from your bottom on down, or you can work your way up. It doesn't matter, or you can meet in the middle. And the reason why is that, remember, the embellishment's gonna sit on top of each tila. It's not gonna actually connect the tilas. It's gonna sit on top of the tilas completely. So you're coming in and out of that particular tila where the hole's coming from. And the difference is that we were going in this direction for this side. Now we're going to go in this direction for this side. So I'm just going to work my way up and show you over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to circle my way around. It's a little awkward with this smaller piece, actually. All right. There we go. Might as well just reinforce some stitches while I'm here. There we go. And for this one, on this side, I want to come out of this hole or that hole. And since I'm coming out of this hole already, I can go ahead and pick up a 11-0, a 2mm, or 11-0. And if I wasn't at one of those two holes, I would just make my way following the thread path. So I'm going to go ahead. And when I do this, I might as well go ahead and reinforce my stitches, because that'll make it a little easier for me to turn around. And just be careful of your thread getting caught on any of the beads. It's fairly common with this project, so just take your time, especially the more we put on. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce that embellishment. Then I'm going to come up. And in this particular case, I've already reinforced this a few times. I'm just going to go ahead and do my step up. And don't worry about anyone seeing your thread. No one's going to see your thread. There we go. And when I do my step up, I'm going to think about what corner I want to come out of. I want to come out of this corner or that corner. Since I want to come out of one of these two corners, the easiest to do is get to here. And so I'm just going to reinforce this, go back down, and come out of this corner. And again, it doesn't matter if you start from the top or the bottom. And this is just for the V section. Oops, let me get some of this thread out of my way. There we go. Get back into the screen. And so I'm going to come back down. And now I'm coming out of the correct corner. So I'm going to go ahead, pick up a 11-0, a 2mm, and 11-0. Do my diagonal, reinforce so I can turn around. Go. And reinforce my embellishment. go up. Watch my thread so it doesn't get caught. Do my step up. And then I would do the same thing. I want to come out of this hole or this hole. I'm here, so the easiest thing to do, reinforce, come back down, and do the same thing as we did just a moment ago. All right, I'll meet you back here. Go ahead and finish your embellishment on the V section, and then meet me back here, and we'll do the embellishment on the rest of the chain. All right, looking forward to it, you guys. All right, so I'm almost done with this side, and I just have this last one to do. So as I'm putting the embellishment on here, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up, circle along here, and also strengthen this connection in between here, since that's a potential stress point. All right, so now that I've worked down and I strengthen the connection, I'm going to go ahead and put my last embellishment on. Again, I'm coming out of this hole. I want to wind up over there. So I picked up 111.0, one fire polish, 111.0. I'm going down. Here we go. And I'm reinforcing that previous embellishment. And then I'm going to go through the hole again. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I might as well go ahead and reinforce the connection again. So I'm just going to go up to that first highlight B and circle around, just so I have this section right here reinforced. And I'm just trying to make it stronger so that way it's protected. So I'm back down here, and all I need to do is reinforce this at least one more time. Actually, what I want to do is go through this side. There we go. Reinforce the embellishment. There we go. Now I'm just gonna work my way up to here and we'll start our embellishment for the top part. All right, so now for the final step, and look how gorgeous this is already coming along. I mean, even at this point, it's just beautiful as is. So if you don't want to do the last part, that's fine too, but it's really, really simple. So when we look at the original necklace here that I made, what you want to do is you want to get your thread to this point here. And all we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of Delicas, a 3mm fire polish, and then a couple of more Delicas. So, and that's all we're going to do. And we're only going to do that on the Tila part. And this part will twist on your neck, and that is perfectly fine. It was designed for it to do so. So don't feel bad. But what it does is it does help keep the V section from twisting. So that's why we designed it the way we did, so that this part doesn't get twisted. This part here does not get twisted on your neck. And if you don't put the embellishment on, it will still work that way. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little bit more. So it's up to you guys if you want to go ahead and do this part, but it's simple, it's easy, and it adds a little bit more pizzazz. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so as we're getting started on this part, I have my thread. So I have my thread coming out of here. What I'm going to be using for this section, for this embellishment, we're going to use 11-0 Delicas and 3mm fire polish. So let me just get my beads ready. So what you're going to do is first you're going to pick up 3 11-0 Delicas. Oops, I picked them up and threw them down. All right, then you're going to pick up 1 3mm fire polish, then 3 more 11-0 Delicas. Okay, so I am coming out of this 4mm pearl. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through to the second 3mm pearl. Oops. There we go. That's all we're going to do. So, all right, now I'm coming out of this 4mm pearl. So I'll pick up another 3 11-0 Delicas, 1 3mm fire polish, and then 3 more 11-0 Delicas. And I'm coming out of this pearl, so I'm just going to go through this pearl. All right, so you do that all the way to the end. Once you get to the end, what I recommend doing is reinforcing this section here. Go back down, reinforce that last bit of embellishment, and then you're done. It's that simple, everyone. And when you're finished, look how pretty it looks. It looks gorgeous wearing it, and it's just a fun necklace. And like I said, you know, for me, a girl, you know, even when I wasn't, you know, chunky like I am now, I always have had a round neck and round shoulders. So I always had an issue with certain necklaces twisting on me. And with this particular necklace, I don't have that issue. So, have fun. And again, let me just go over that, what we're doing. Let me just go over it one more time. It's so simple. So I'm coming out of this 4mm pearl. I'm going to pick up 3 11-0 Delicas, 1 3mm fire polish. Then I'm going to pick up 3 more 11-0 Delicas coming out of here, and I'm going to go through here. And this just sits right on top of that Tila bead. And I'll do that all the way down. Then go ahead, reinforce this, and then go back through the embellishment you just added, okay? All right, have fun, and I look forward to seeing pictures of your guys' projects. Take care.